So I figured I wanted to try to at least show my face every day that we are doing lessons this week. I will switch to my actual screencasting in just a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to say hello. Today's lesson, I'm going to do a little bit of teaching, a little bit of kind of explaining what you're going to do today. You're going to do a virtual lab, totally just on the computer and whatnot. And then you will end with taking just a quiz based on the lab. So make sure that while you're doing the lab, you take great notes and whatnot. And you can either print out what I created for you, or you can just do it on a white sheet of paper and whatnot. Anyways, I hope you guys are all hanging in there and having a great week. As I said, email me with any questions and whatnot. Tomorrow or Wednesday, whatever day you're watching this, we are going to have that Zoom check-in. It is not required. It is just a time for questions, a time for you all to check in with me in a live setting. I can't respond to everyone's emails right away. I'm trying to create lessons and everything at the same time. So if you guys have questions and just kind of want to chat, come to the Zoom meeting. It's going to start at 10:30 tomorrow. We're going to have them every Wednesday. And then if by request or if I feel that it's needed, I'll add some more Zoom sessions and whatnot. Feel free to ever reach out and ask for those if necessary. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my screen now so you can see that. I'm just going to open this up full screen for everyone to see really quick. Perfect. So today's discussion question, thinking back to the hierarchical organization we were learning about a couple of weeks ago, that last week before we started this distance learning, go ahead and list the hierarchical organization of the human body. So I know in our lessons that we were doing before, we went all the way down to atoms, but for this, what I want you to do is start with cells and make your way all the way up to organism. The organism would be the human. So you're going to do that, and then just make that list in the discussion board, as we have done every other day. Okay, so here's an example. A level of organization, we have neuron, a cell, nerve tissue, working up to create the brain, which creates a nervous system. We would have that nervous system, which would work into an organ. So nervous system is an organ system. And then organ system would work together to build an organism. But for our lesson today, what we're going to talk about is tissues in general, so kind of on that smaller level. You should know that cells kind of work together to form tissues. Two main tissues that we're going to talk about are epithelial tissues. So epithelial tissues and then connective tissues. So many individual cells and parts work together to kind of build your tissue systems. And then we went through the level of organization. So the human body is a complex, which just basically means it's a lot of interconnected things. So cells building tissues, tissues building those organs building organ systems and working all the way up. It is organized. The human body is organized, and there are many different parts that need to function properly in order for the human to function properly. So we have our epithelial tissue, so it protects, absorbs, and then excretes materials. And then we have our connective tissue, binding of the epithelial tissue, which then structures, supports, and transport the substances, the two locations of each one of those. And then these are slide examples of what those would look like. Get used to those. We're going to do a little bit more of that today. And then we also have the nervous tissue, and we have the muscle tissue. So your nervous tissue is going to be part of your nervous system, receiving and transmitting those nerve impulses, examples or locations of those, the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. And then your muscle tissue, you have voluntary, and then you also have involuntary movements, and then the location of those as well. So what you're going to do today is you have this histology virtual lab. So you're going to be looking at specific tissues. You're going to use this link right here. and complete the following notes. These notes are not being turned in. However, you do have a quiz, so the notes will help you with the quiz that you have to take at the end of the day today. The quiz is timed, so before you open that quiz, make sure you have these notes completed. So let's actually open the notes first, show you what these notes look like. So there are just a couple of kind of guided questions here. You're gonna have a couple of questions about our lab, and then you actually have to do some scientific drawings. So that's what your notes are gonna look like. That's just kind of a basic setup. And then we have our lab link. Okay, so this is your histology virtual lab. This answer sheet is literally what I have as the questions. So if you open that, it's not going to be very helpful. It's just the questions written differently. So you have a little intro here. You're going to need to read through that intro. Read through all of this stuff here. And then all the way working all the way down while answering these 3 questions. Okay? And once you're done with that, what you're going to do is I'm actually going to make this half the screen and make this the other half. And again, you can use my setup here. So you're going to do some scientific drawings. On a separate unlined paper, or this page if you want to print it out, you're going to make a sketch of each one of these different tissues. So we're looking specifically at epithelial tissues. You're going to learn a little bit more about those. And then you're going to label each drawing, after you draw it, with the type of tissue, its location, and its function. So, example. I kind of set it all up for you down here a little bit. Your tissue 1, you would write down the name of the tissue, so pseudostratified, the function, so it removes dust. So here, let's just do it as an example. So location, or tissue 1 is the pseudostratified. Okay, you have that. Now you have your location. I put those in the wrong order, sorry guys. So it lines the respiratory passages. And then you would write the function. Great, you're gonna write the function right there. Now, for this box, this is where you're gonna sketch it. So we're gonna click on this. It's gonna open a new tab. This is what that pseudostratified tissue looks like. You are going to draw that here. And then, after you draw it, you're going to use this information to kind of label it. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but I would point out where the nucleus is. You can see the nucleus right there, okay? That would be one main thing that I would at least point out. You can point out the cytoplasm of your cell, okay? So that's what pseudostratified looks like. And then you're going to go down to tissue 2 and do the exact same thing. Be simple. Again, you're going to draw it. Draw the whole thing so that you can eventually finish all 8 of these. There's 8. So you should have each one of these. You're going to go back to Schoology. On Schoology, for Tuesday, you have a histology lab quiz. It is timed, so you will need all of this information on your paper so that you can use this for your quiz, okay? And that's it for today, just making sure that you did that discussion and then you did all of that lab stuff. I think that was it on the notes. Yep, the last thing to do for today is just complete that quiz. And then we'll move on tomorrow to something new. Okay, I hope you guys have a great day. And again, reach out if you have any questions. I did put in test grades into your grade books. So if you haven't taken your test, be aware for Unit 4 that be aware I'm going to be putting in zeros pretty soon for that. So we have to figure something out for that. And then if you did take your test and you don't like your score, if it's below 75, I'm in the process of figuring out how to create test corrections. So just hang in there with me on that for just a little bit longer. Okay, happy Tuesday, guys. Have a great rest of your day.